Hello, everybody. Welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason, and I wanted to talk about forcing, trying to get things to happen in your life, i.e., not truly believing in divine timing. So, this is something that just recently occurred to me of how not in control we actually are of our own lives. At least, this is the way I see it. You're along for the ride. You're you're in a rowboat, and maybe you get to choose which part of the river you float down, but you do not get to go faster or go backwards in time. You must go down the river. So I haven't made a video in quite a while. It's been about 6 days. And I wanted to. Or at least my ego felt like I should. Yeah, that's more accurate. you know, there's still part of me, the egoic mind, that wants this channel to grow. Because it sees it as a tangible way to keep getting validation from the outside world that what I'm saying is true, or possibly a way to, I don't know what you would say. It's definitely a validation thing, but you know, could this be a career in some way? There's a lot of people on here that do these types of videos and readings, and psychics like myself. They sell things, and they do make a living doing this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I know that's not for me long term. Oh, it's so cryptic. So, my ego really wants this channel to go. It wants it to take off. But the higher me, all it really wants to do is whatever it feels like doing. It wants to be a child. It wants to go through the world with wonder and joy and inspiration. The egoic mind, the operating system of the avatar, it wants to make some money. It wants to be safe. So you're in a constant battle. You're trying to appease both of them until you get to the point where you realize you don't have to appease those thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You're not even this body. The thoughts come from the mind, which is the brain, which is part of the physical avatar, and you're inhabiting it. You are not them. You can get to the point where you observe them and they float by like clouds in the sky. You don't judge each one of them. They're just a different shaped cloud. And then peace starts to come for you. It's the consequence of it. So I've been in that state a lot more often than I haven't lately. And I found that as I was sitting here my ego would pop up and try to force me to make a video, and I wouldn't have inspiration, and it wouldn't be coming from my higher self. So then I would resist the urge, i.e., not listen to those thoughts. Those thoughts are coming from a place of fear and a place of, well, it's all fear based. And, this is the goal here. We want to live in peace. We don't want to be tortured by our thoughts. And if you can not associate with them, you've made it. So I kept brushing it away, not making the video. And I've noticed that I've been exceptionally busy with work and life and just minuscule things, nothing serious, but there's always been something to do for this past week. It's almost like the universe is distracting me, keeping me busy so I don't see what's coming. No, there. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe it's just forcing my hand so that I stay patient, that I stick to my guns, and that I only make these videos when I feel inspired to make them. When I only write when I feel divine inspiration to write. And I actually wrote something for the first time in months the other day, and it's good. Of course it's good because I waited till it was my higher self, my unfiltered higher self, coming through onto the paper. So our goal is to get to that state where we're in flow, where we're rolling down the river and we're not fighting the current. We're not not trying to steer our lives. Divine timing is just that. It's God's plan for you. And you are God. You wrote the story. You're a fractal of the higher consciousness that is God. You're a piece of it. This story was written and you're inhabiting the body in order to experience it as God. What is it like to go through that particular set of calamities and experiences in a human body with this particular set of physical attributes and life experiences and culture and whatever it is that you were born into? Then God inhabits it, i.e., your soul, and it experiences it. It's a play that's been written long before you came, because there is no time. Just a linear progression of events. So you're along for the ride. Now, if you go on this wonderful app that I like to post on, you'll see a lot of people trying to sell you things, ways to manifest, ways to self-improve. They're selling you that stuff, and they're selling it to your ego. Your ego can't relinquish control until it has that unbelievable ego death. Until you go through that, it's in control and it still thinks that it can steer the ship. It cannot. So whenever you buy one of those things, it's more often than not a way for your ego to be appeased, to feel like it's still in control and it's steering the ship in some way. So you buy this manifestation course, and maybe you get some small amount of improvement. If it worked all the time, we'd all be millionaires, be done. So obviously it doesn't. Why doesn't it? Divine timing. You can't speed up the clock. You have to wait. When a child is conceived, it stays in the womb for 9 months. You can't speed that up. When the butterfly goes into the chrysalis, it takes the prescribed amount of time before the butterfly is ready to emerge. When a seed is planted, or for example, the seeds that are underneath this ridiculous blanket of snow that I'm currently looking out my window at. Well, I can't see right now, it's dark, but we've been getting a lot of snow over here. There's seeds in the ground right now. They're not pining to germinate or trying to germinate faster, push up through the snow so they can start this process of healing and be finished. They wait for spring and then they germinate. You are the same. You're on a divine roller coaster. You can shift the roller coaster back and forth slightly on the track. You can pick if you want soup or a sandwich for lunch. But those major events, those big downhill drops and loop-de-loops in the roller coaster, they're going to happen. And you're going to get there when you're supposed to get there. Those little choice points that you get to make are there to make you feel like you have control, or at least a little bit of it. So, choose your soup or your sandwich, but let go of the direction of your life. Stop trying to force the healing to happen faster than it can. It cannot. You need to wait. You're in the oven. You know, you put a loaf of bread, I don't know baking, but you put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 350. You can't turn it up to 500 for 15 minutes. It won't work. It takes the prescribed amount of time in order for that loaf of bread to be done. You can do this. This was the way my grandmother cooked. It's not very good. A lot of charcoal briquettes. So, you know, I have the special attachment to dragonflies. My mother visits me or sends dragonflies to me so that I know she's there. And this has been happening for a long time. And the dragonflies, it has 2 lives. It has one life as a nymph, which is an underwater predator that is very effective. In that liquid environment, it needs a particular body style and set of abilities in order to live, to succeed. And then one day it gets the urge out of nowhere. It doesn't know why it's doing it. It perfectly wants to stay in the water, but it's doing just fine. It's succeeding. But it's time for it to grow. It's time for it to soar. And it crawls out of the water up a leaf in the hot sun. The light shines upon this dragonfly, well, nymph, and it goes through a process of completely reconfiguring itself inside a shell, inside the husk of the old nymph that had these particular sets of skills. The light of God shines upon you. You start doing things that you wouldn't do, and you don't even know why you're doing them. And then one day, after you've been in that husk of a shell of an old nymph body, shining under the light of the sun, or God, you crack open and emerge, and you're not the same. that process takes the time it takes. You can't force it. You can't make it faster. Life will advance at the pace that you wrote for yourself before you incarnated here and experienced all of this stuff. And it won't happen a minute sooner. So let go. Let go of the timing. Let go of the forcing. Stop trying to push your life in directions you are not high enough to see. Your perspective is too low and you will not steer it in the right direction. You have to wait for the seed to germinate. You have to wait for the right environment for that plant to thrive. And the big picture of this whole thing is the butterfly effect. The smallest action can have a massive effect downstream. You don't know what mustard seed of faith you planted 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, however old you are, or last week, and what that's going to germinate into. You can't see the Mandela effect. You can't see the big picture of this whole thing from down here. You have to let go. You have to wait. And the more comfortable you get with throwing your hands in the air on this roller coaster, the more comfortable this ride becomes. The more peaceful when you know you're safe. You know you're strapped in, and though it can be scary, nothing truly bad can happen to you. So I think I'll leave it there, guys. I'm not sure what the timing of these videos is going to be. It's whenever inspiration hits. And that has been, well, few and far between lately. I hope so. And I hope that someone here who watches this video gets something from it. And maybe learns to just let go a little bit. It's easier on you. Don't fight it. Man makes plans and God laughs. So, like I said, I'll leave it here. I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you soon, guys.